So I've given that primer about half hour to flash off. I gave it a quick heat gun first, and it's actually gone quite nice and hard. Like most of the time acrylic primers sort of, they stay a little bit soft, but this one actually, it's better than what I expected. And I haven't gone and got any fry ups or ring ups, which can happen when you're using these kinds of primers. And if that does happen, if you get like swelling around the cut through, say you can see where that's cut through from the plastic all the way up to the top coat color. If you get a bit of swelling there, the best way to fix that is stop it. Like, don't just keep putting more coats on, because it's not going to fix it. What's actually happened there is that the solvents or the thinners inside of the primer has got underneath and it started to lift it up. So the best way to fix that is to dry it out, heat gun it, give it 20 minutes or so, scuff it back, and then put light coats on. Just put a light coat on, dry it out, scuff it, put another light coat on until it's holding down. But in this case, we're not going to have to worry about that. So next stage is just to give it a bit of a scuff down. And I'm just going to do it dry with a bit of 800 over the primed areas, and there's not a great deal of overspray up here. That's one good thing about using aerosol cans, is that they're very low pressure, so you're going to keep that that primer concentrated just where you want it pretty much. So we'll get a bit of 800 grit. I'm just going to use the wet sandpaper, but I'm going to use it dry. That's actually sounding quite nice. And just feeling it so that you can feel that it's nice and smooth when you've got it right. Alright, so that's all scuffed down. It's feeling nice and smooth now. A little bit rough there, still give that a little bit more of a scuff, just where the filler was. And that should be fine now. So next up, I'm going to give it a quick wipe down, just with a rag again. Make sure these blend areas are nice and clean. And I'm going to have to put a piece of good masking over the top of this, because this this masking isn't actually designed for painting over, and you can see all this paint is actually flaking off that masking. So yeah, it's recommended that you get specific proper masking plastic, but this is what I'm going to use. This should get us out of trouble for the day. Just going to go over the top of my other masking here. Got my razor blade there somewhere. When I do the job that we actually use the compressor with, I think I will get some proper masking plastic. It's not expensive. I can get it from my local auto supply for like $20 for a big box, so I think I'll get some of that. Just gonna make the job a lot easier. So we need to put some down the bottom here too. So we are just about ready to spray. Now, one thing I should have got, but I didn't, is a tack rag. So don't forget your tack rags if you're at home, but if you do, you're just going to have to do what I'm doing. That's just using rags, just standard rags. So I'm not going to worry about giving it another wax and grease remover. If you're one that likes to spray tyre cleaners on your car, the silicone-based ones, it could be worth wiping it down a few extra times with the wax and grease remover, because the silicone in those silicone-based tyre cleaners really isn't good for the paint. It reacts with it and you'll get fish eyes and stuff, but I'm pretty confident with this that it's nice and clean. And again, if I had an air compressor, I would be blowing that down, but I don't have a compressor. We'll get one for the next video, and we'll paint just a full single panel. Full DIY spec, same as this though. Alright, that's actually not looking too bad. Not bad for a bit of a home job, you know. I'll get that respirator on. Get those gloves on for what it's worth. I don't think I'll be touching a great deal of the paint, but can't hurt. Love these Colag gloves. They're so good quality. They just last forever. I just reuse them all the time. They're a lot thicker than the standard gloves that I use. Well, the standard gloves that I haven't used for ages. So, let's go. So we'll give that a bit of a flash down between coats. Alright, so that's 2 coats down. It's not covering brilliantly, but that was expected. I didn't expect it to cover great because it is a red and it's solvent-based paint. So we'll just keep putting coats on until it's looking good. It actually looks, I just noticed just then, we are starting to get a little bit of a fry up here. And I think that's a reaction to those touch-ups. I didn't fully sand, there was a little bit there that I didn't sand their old touch-ups off, and it's starting to react there a little bit. So what we can do there is exactly what I was saying before. Quick scuff down, light coat, scuff down, light coats. And I'm wanting to keep my color sort of around here. So there's a few stone chips here we'll fix while we're at it. I actually cut through here, but what I'm gonna do there, because of where it is, I'm gonna just do a little touch up. I've got a little touch up brush. I'm gonna spray a little bit of this color into the lid and a tiny little touch up there. So we've got very poor coverage here. I can still see, I'm not sure how well that's showing up on camera, but there's still that section where I put that primer and it's not covering well at all. Not a big deal, we'll get there eventually. I've lost count of how many coats, it must be 5 or 6 so far, and I've used over half of that, so let's keep going. Yeah, you can also see there, it's just starting to fry up a little bit. I want to just get my coverage first, and then I'll give it one light scuff, and then a light last coat, but it's not too bad. Like when you're standing up, or when you're above it, you actually can't really see it. It's only when you're really looking at eye level, so for a bumper bar, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I'm not stressing. Wherever love goes, there is also misery. It's no mystery. And you and I, we got history, yeah. Wherever love flows, there is also tragedy. And a lot of base coat to get covered there, I tell you what. Light scuff back here. It's drying nice and quickly. You don't want to go and put your coats on too heavy, but you still need to get enough on that you're going to get some sort of coverage. Look in the mirror, say, hey, I'm sorry for all the pain. Hey, I'm sorry for all the pain. Alright. That's actually looking pretty good. That's going to be ready to clear. I gave that one last scuff back and I can barely see any of those fry-ups left, so that's looking quite nice. Because this colour is taking so long to get covered, when I got that black spot, I sanded it back. I can still just see it, but you know what? I'm going to live with it. So I'm going to go and walk away and charge this camera up for a bit. I'm going to give that like 20 minutes before I put the clear over it. Alright, so I gave that just about 10 minutes and it's drying down quite nicely. And next up we're going to be doing our clear coat stage. So because we are just using an acrylic 1K clear coat here, we're going to have to put, I reckon, 6 coats on it. Like we really want something that we can sand back and polish up when it comes to polishing time. Let me know if you guys actually want to see the polishing stage on this. I'm happy to upload it, but I will be uploading it as a separate video. For today, I'm just going to be painting it. I'll unmask it, I'll drive it around for a week, and if you guys are interested, I can do a polishing video to follow up. So yeah, happy to do that if you guys are keen. One thing to keep in mind is that this is a dark color. Now I didn't need to put any blending aid down there, but what you can see here is all this overspray. I don't want to go and put my clear coat over that. So what we're going to do is just get a clean rag. Now this is where if I had a tack rag, I would much rather use a tack rag there. I'm just using a clean rag and wiping that off. You can see all that misty overspray that has landed on that blend area is coming off with this rag. It's not really something that any pros would usually do, and it's just something that I have to do because I forgot to grab tack rags, so that's my fault. Sometimes you'll actually find you get less dust left behind if you just get your glove or even just your bare hand than using a standard cloth, because sometimes those standard rags have little bits of lint and stuff on it that will get left behind. So this should be good enough. We're going to be polishing it anyway, so if there's a few bits of dust in there, it's not the biggest deal, and acrylic clears are quite easy to polish, so I'm definitely not stressing. Let's get some clear coat on.
got history, yeah. And when you're alone, do you say my name or you say her name? Yeah.
Give me a spray gun any day. Huh. But yeah, it's just getting there, shiny.
You and I, we got history, yeah.
So there you go, that's about 4 coats of acrylic clear. I used this pretty cool little thing, Prevol sprayer, and you can put anything down in the bottom and up you go and it'll spray. So I use that for a bit of thinners, just standard thinners, and that just helped fade that edge out a bit. It's not perfect, but it will polish up. There's a few bits of dust in it, a little bit of orange peel. I actually got a run there too, but it's not a big deal. A little bit of a run down there because I was making sure that I got that like a wet coat inside there, but that'll cut out, no worries. It actually looks a little bit better than what I'd expected. I'm going to leave that for a couple of hours to flush right off before I unmask it. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Gunman out. So I just thought I'd give you guys one more look at it before I go and unmask it. I've left this for about 2 hours, and you can see that it's dulled right down, but that's to be expected with acrylic clear coats. You need to polish it to get your gloss out of it. So I did go a little bit heavy here. You can see just starting to run there. But that's going to polish up fine. I'm going to give that a week until I actually polish it. So it's Monday now. I probably won't polish it until Saturday. That fade out actually looks to have worked. I mean, it's not the perfect thinners. It was just a multi-purpose thinners. If I had have used like a proper, maybe even like a fade out thinner or something, it would have came out a lot better. But I've got good confidence that that's going to polish up. I'm going to give it a little bit of a denib. There's 1 or 2 bits of dust in it. I'm not going to get too fussy. It is just a bumper bar. The colour seems to have blended out quite nice. One little run there, but that's going to polish out, no dramas at all. So yeah, look, all in all, I'm pretty happy with it. It's come up all right, and there's no reason that you guys at home can't do exactly the same thing. Hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up, share it around with your friends. Until next time, get out there and paint some shit. Gunman out.